the heavy lifting is a concept that we discussed. That I don't. Can we call that a concept? I don't know. But and we hear that a lot now with AI, that the AI does the heavy lifting. But my experience with heavy lifting goes much before AI was as famous as it is today, and as used and spoken of as it is today. I was embedded in a very, very large company, more than 100,000 employees in lots of division, and it's a paquebot. It's not a cigarette, you know, those speedboat that go very, very fast. And no, a paquebot is very, very powerful, very strong, very stable. And when there's a change to the paquebot, the view from an outsider that it changes is very slow. But to change a paquebot, you need a lot of strength, power, willpower, activities, energy, teamwork. And teamwork is the key here. It's not one single team. A large company is made of tribes, and those tribes need to be able to work together. And the interface between those tribes or those teams is what matters. So the team I was mentioning at the beginning is a team made of members of other teams or other tribes. If they don't work together, the paquebot will not be able to change, or the color will not be painted. If you paint a little bit of white on the paquebot from far away, you don't see it. The key is that everybody works in the same way, in the same direction, and have the same goal. And the heavy lifting is the ability that many members, employees, colleagues from various teams have the ability to lift a heavy weight at the same time in the same direction. And then it becomes easy. I've learned it the hard way. If I try to do it all alone and speaking one-to-one with all those team members, it's not moving. But if we are all aligned and everybody is convinced that it's the right direction, then we change the tide and the things are moving. So you can then start seeing that the painting on the paquebot is getting whiter and broader, and then you can create what I've created at the time in internal division, which was international, from bringing several units of the group together. Diversity is important, and diversity, I mean, there's several levels of diversity. The first level would be sex, then ethnicity, then the country, then there is the culture, then you can say age, then you can say character, approach to business. People are risk adverse or not risk adverse. They have a client-facing role and they like it very much, or they're very organized and operational, or they're very oriented in compliance. In insurance, it's highly regulated, so compliance is extremely important. So the key when you select team members is first to select people that are not like you. If you take, people like Francois 1, Francois 2, and to 6 or 10, or much bigger, then is not going to work. So that's an element, a very important element you need to select and establish when you make your team selection. And you can suffer a unit. So as a CEO, you need to have managers, executives, middle managers, executant, and people who are able to be stars and who have a drive. But you also have to have solid performers who achieve the task that they have been assigned to, the ability to improve it, to actually give opinion about the task, but also achieve the task. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to cluster that to bring that into a cluster of individuals that work in the right direction. There's another element here. I just like to speak about the 6 hats of Bono, and that's a concept in management where you create a team of 6 people who have a goal to solve a problem. It's a problem solving. But it could be a project team. It could be, we talk about a lot about Scrum, agility, and so on, where you have different team formation and etc. Or when you're yourself in a smaller team where you need to be able to develop a concept, and you're not 6 people, but 2 or 3, or even all by yourself, you need to be able to view a situation in different standpoints. And I've always used these 6 hats in my approach, because I find that extremely important to have various point of view to create a solution or to have an outcome which is better than if you just have, I know it all, I know what it's going to be, I write it down and everybody follows. We never know everything. And I believe that more than 50% of the time, if you're alone developing the solution, although you're the most intelligent person on earth, you will not be able to achieve it. And I'm not the most intelligent person on earth. Einstein, when he developed this theory of relativity, he was actually very bad in geometry. So he went to a friend of his to have that. Now, going back to the 6 hats and applying this principle, then yes, I usually take a person who is in favor of the solution. I take a person who is not in favor of the solution, or the role need to be, not in favor of the solution. Somebody's more client-facing, somebody more back-office-facing, or specialist into 1 or 2 fields, and a compliance person who is very important, as I mentioned earlier in answering the previous question, to be able to actually hedge against creating a solution which is outside what we can do. So that's the core of developing a team for solution building or executing a project. The value chain of a company is always split into several elements. You can't do otherwise. I mean, it cannot be a monolith. It has to be an addition of several smaller pieces. It's the nature of things. The universe is built like that. All things are built by addition of little things: atoms, molecules, human beings, trees, planets. And that's a guiding principle, I think, in how we function. The interfaces of those elements that come together are where you can win or you can lose. A non-working interface is a place where there's going to be a lot of problems and where failure will arise. So you've asked me the circumstances where and when I need to build a team which is diverse, with different opinion, different profile. Then it's usually to create a solution, whether it's client-facing or for operations or finance, which goes beyond the little department. And in 99.9% of the cases, it has an impact on external stakeholders or needs input from external stakeholders. And at that moment, if you don't have this diversity, this ability to view and to take the standpoint of those various stakeholders in the team, then you waste the time of the people, you waste money of the shareholders, and basically you also fail to create a better opportunity by allocating the resources on something else. So that's why it's extremely important. There's plenty of examples. If you need to improve, let's take a product. Let's take we need to change a feature of a product. Then that this product need to be sold by the online team and need to be managed by operation, but also accounted for and registered in the finance of the company. A little feature of the product, addition of a small feature. If it's not sold or if it's not understood to be sold, then it's not going to be successful. It could even hamper your core product by the inability from the team to even get across client the advantage of this additional solution. It could actually be counterproductive, or it could be, there's tons of problems that I can imagine that I've experienced that would arise from this the lack of integration of of a team to execute and implement this solution or even test it. So I will take an example of tariff increase in insurance. So there's every year life gets more expensive. So the insurance premium that we ask to our clients need to grow as well, and the increase is a controversial element because the people on the sales, they say, "Oh, it's too expensive. Clients will not stay," and the actuary is going to say, "No, it's not enough. You have to grow it," and then you have to create the compromise, and all the elements of all the department of the company are represented, compliance included. Why compliance? Because if you sometimes communicate wrongly the increase, then you're not allowed to apply it, or if you mistime it. So this is a moment in the life cycle of a company I managed where a team needed to come together and was successful in implementing it. It became part of the routine, so it was not even an exception. It was a routine way of applying this methodology of building a team and executing successfully the task at hand.